this thing here, and DJI Mini also here. I shot some videos today of this cool Trueno 86 from Toyota. Amazing. And then we have the, and again, I really still don't know how to say it correctly, but I think it's Zhiyun or something like that. Anyway, that's the best that I can say it. Zhiyun. Anyway, so let's talk about the things that really ticked me off this morning. So first things first, I brought this fun hubsan. And what I was gonna try to do is track it, get a nice flight in. Notice how these legs or these arms unfold a little bit differently than the DJI, and the gimbal. It's pretty simple, but they're mostly all the same, the gimbals on these drones. But the problem is not the drone. Imagine that. The problem was not the drone. The drone flies perfectly well, but again, wasted 10 minutes doing an update. And then when the update was completed, the software asked me to make another update. So I don't know what is going on with that, but it is extremely frustrating. And I keep saying this over and over again. This constant needing to update stuff is becoming extremely abusive. I mean, if it's just like a 10-second update because you need to update the codes to make the safety between the remote, the remote and the drone safer, so it's harder to get hacked by people or something like that. If that's the kind of fix that you're trying to do, or you're fixing a bug where all of a sudden the drone just falls out of the sky, something like that, then I could understand. But the majority of the time when the updates are being done on these things, it's either making it the software less user-friendly to use, or they're adding some kind of restriction system, something that really ticks you off. And the majority of us who are just like hobbyists or whatever are not using this for professional use. And I mean, you wouldn't use this for professional use anyway. This is mostly geared towards amateurs. So most people who just love flying drones and stuff like that, or it's pretty much the same kind of people who love RC cars. And so what we like to do is just go to the field, or there's somewhere where you have some tarmac or cement or whatever, asphalt, and just play with the stuff. We don't want to go out there and spend 10-15 minutes updating it every single time, because some people have lives, so they don't do this like every single day. And therefore, most likely, if this thing needs to be updated every like 2 or 3 days, by the time it's the weekend and they off work or whatever and they go to fly, the first thing that they're going to end up doing is updating and wasting 10 minutes of their lives instead of hanging out with their kids or whatever it is. So, I mean, I don't know. It's really frustrating that all these companies keep forcing you to do update, unless the update is critical to the actual flight performance of the RC drone. I think it's just really, really abusive that you're constantly asking us to waste 10 minutes of our lives doing this. It's just, and it's if it's like once a year, maybe twice a year, people would be okay with it. But it's just constant. It is absolutely constant and just unacceptable at this point. So anyway, so the other issue that I've been having, and I discussed this yesterday in the live stream as well, is that I'm trying to do live streams directly with the app on here. And I don't know if it's because I don't have Android and use a lot of Apple products that it's not allowing me to live stream. I just really don't know at this point. If anybody does know why it's so difficult to get things to live stream on the Mini 2, just put it in the comments and see if there's anything that you guys maybe have found that works for you to get it to live stream, because I just cannot get it to live stream. What it does is you put in the code and everything like that, and it starts live stream for about 10 seconds, then it says live streams failed. And I know that I took the correct code from YouTube, put it in here. I went to the transfer, I don't know, transmission or something. That's the tab that you need to go to. You put in that famous 4-letter code thing, and then you go and get the actual link from YouTube, which is a really long YouTube thing, but it's all the same for everybody. And then there's a key specific to your YouTube channel that you then add. Done all that. Again, it starts the live stream for 10 seconds and then it fails. So lost for words there on how frustrating that's been. So that's been frustrating for one thing. Then the constant updates on all of these devices, and I'm not just because it's DJI, okay? I'm telling you, all of these devices, I don't care what company it is, whether it's DJI, whether it's Hubsan, because these are the ones that I'm holding in my hand, whether it's Fimi, whatever it is, they're just really getting on my nerves, all of them. There was one good one for Fimi, and that's the reason why I bought that bird, was specifically because it did not require any of the updates, because it ran with, there wasn't digital cameras, it was with the old FPV cameras, and therefore because of that, and because it came with its own remote, did not require a phone or whatever to be connected to it, then that that drone doesn't have the problems that we're all facing with these things, and it's just so frustrating. And a lot of the times it's not just this. I mean, I have issues with the Surface Pro, constantly asking you to do updates, and most of the time the updates are just whatever, blah. The amount of, if I had $1 for every time a device asked me to update, it would just, you know, I would just be really, really rich. I would be able to jump in a bunch of cash. Anyway, let's check out this cool thing here. This is the, again, I call it the Zhiyun, I don't know. Anyway, really cool device. The only issue that it has, and it's not really an issue, it's just something that you need to get accustomed to, is that you need to balance this thing. So the other one that I had was the Vision Vilta SE. Fantastic product. They removed all of the apps from the store. So it's not like I wanted to get a new one for any specific reason other than I need this thing to track, right? And unfortunately, it no longer can track because the app does no longer exists on the Apple. I don't know if it still exists for the Android store. I have no idea. I haven't been able to check that. But if you are running one of Chef Cook's, you know, Mr. Tim Cook's devices, then you can't use the free Vision Vilta anymore, which is so frustrating. Again, it's like, as I said, these days, this is the generation of amazing hardware. Like, you've got all these amazing products, stuff like this, stuff like this, stuff like this, all amazing stuff. And this that I'm holding, all amazing stuff. The problems that you are going to find are always software related. Either the company is just not doing enough to make the software good, or the software is fantastic and it constantly gets updated, making it worse instead of better. You know, like when Facebook first came out, the app that came with Facebook was the bomb. It was just great. It just worked exactly the way you wanted it to. And then slowly over the years, it just kept getting worse and worse and worse until now we have Facebook, which is the only app that now needs 2 apps, one for messaging and one for posting. You're like, oh man, can we just go back, like, I don't know, can we just go back to maybe 15 or 20 years ago where things actually still were kind of half decent? I don't know. kind of had decent. It just feels like every year things get worse and worse. But anyway, this thing here is pretty fantastic. The thing you will have to work a lot on is balancing, because you see you need to balance the camera like this. You see how this needs to be perfectly balanced in the center, but also when you look at it like this, it needs to balance like that, so like that, and like that. So a lot of freedom of axis of movement. And so this thing is actually able to track things going like this. You can tilt it like this, and it also tracks things up and down. So this thing is absolutely fantastic from that point of view. Just remember that I think, and what we've noticed is when you're trying to track objects such as RC cars and stuff, they're only on one plane of existence. Generally speaking, it does pretty well unless the car is going really fast. If it zooms away from the camera too fast, the thing won't be able to track it. So you got to go nice and slow around objects, and then the camera will follow it no problem. The Zhiyun thing does not have a tag, or at least maybe it might work with tags, but the one that I currently have does not have a tag. It did not come with a tag, so there's no way of experimenting on how well that would work. So there you have it on that. So you have to rely entirely on the phone to have a fast processing capabilities in order for it to track the object and make sure that it stays in place and stuff. I don't know if part of the reason why it was struggling was because this vehicle that I was trying to track earlier and this vehicle that I was trying to track earlier as well are white, and so sometimes based on the background it could have misinterpreted where it was or whatever in the air or on a bench. I don't know. So it did okay tracking this here car, but the drone it really struggled with. So if you're looking for something that tracks objects in the air like planes and stuff like that, I doubt that the Zhiyun would be ideal for that. I most likely am going to use it in the garage. Hopefully we'll get it up and running and I will try it extensively. If not, I may have to return it. But it is, considering the price, since it was refurbished, $80 for a machine like that, I think is probably acceptable anyway. So I'm not sure if I'm going to return it or not, because it is really cool to have something that can track even if it's going really slow objects. So since I was planning to do a bunch of stuff in the garage and not having to constantly worry about the camera focusing on stuff and all that stuff, I thought maybe yeah, having something like this would really make a difference, and I think that it does. So anyway, this here is, well, best read it off here, is the brand. Oh, you can see it back here too. I don't know. Tim isn't helping today. It's all washed out or blurry or out of focus. Hocus pocus. I don't know, something with a relationship between Apple devices, focus, and connecting up to YouTube, live streaming, whatever it is. It's just a little bit dodgy. Eventually they'll fix it. I think it got a little bit better since I started ranting about it, but it's still not quite there yet. So so yeah, so there we have it. So other good things that are happening on the channel is Horizon Hobby sent me a cool Aero Scouts, the full version, not the mini. Also received a really cool simulator. So I'm planning to do a bunch more videos with that. That's going to be fun. It'll just be me flying stuff. Well, they do have helicopters. I'm not sure if they have drones. I'll take a look at that too. I think they might have some FPV drones that you can fly in there as well, without the risk of crashing. Because in a simulator, if you do crash, all you need to do is press a reset button, and you haven't actually lost any money, and you can just start again and start flying again. So that's one of the cool features of having something as cool as the, what do they call it? Real Flight. I think it's Real Flight 9.5 something nowadays. So yeah, hoping to do a bunch of videos for you guys on that to supplement all the stuff that's happening in real life, in real space. And also there's a cool feature on there that I haven't experimented with too in the Real Flight that allows you to be in VR. So maybe if I could connect the Quest to the PC or something, then in some ways we'll be able to get some footage off of that, maybe with nice audio and stuff like that, and VR. So again, I haven't experimented with it, so I don't know how good it could be, would be, will be. But yeah, the constant frustration with all of this technology is kind of overwhelming. I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed, I gotta tell you guys, these days. And so with the cyber nanny on this thing constantly telling me, oh, you can't fly here, you can't fly there. Eventually you can, you got to put your phone number in it. So you got to give away all your privacy and all that stuff. It's just, you know, you kind of want to get into a time machine and go back. But see, here's the problem, right? Here's the problem. We're spoiled with the beauty of the newer technology, right? So what you'd want to do is not just go back like 20 years or wherever it is when life was still more fun and better for everybody. So you don't want to just do that. So what you want to do is go back in time and bring all the cool stuff that exists today. So yeah. So what I do is just ask my friend Michael J. Fox, my good friend Michael J. Fox, and what was the other guy that looks like Bernie Sanders? In that awesome movie back in the days when they had Back to the Future. Anyway, so I can't remember the name of the awesome actor in Back to the Future, but all I know is that he looks a lot like Bernie Sanders. So anyway, Bernie Sanders and Michael J. Fox are going to go on a journey back, and I'm going to bring all my cool devices from the future, and I'm just going to go live back there and tell people to stop ruining life. Stop ruining life for the rest of us going forward. Because we have all these amazing devices in our current time. Our current time is probably the best time to be for devices. We have awesome drones with cameras that can point up at the sky and down and do all these amazing things. We've got some of the best remote control vehicles that have ever existed. Planes and drones and cars and boats and all this cool stuff. All this amazing top of the line technology that is, I wouldn't say affordable, but sort of okay affordable. And then we have society. Society that is ruining everything for everyone. So all these extra updates that are happening on all of these drones and all a bunch of other things are all caused by politics. They're all caused by politics. And of course, it's not just politics, it's also by human stupidity. People try to hack drones these days. People try to hurt other people. It's always the usual thing. That hasn't changed. It's just gotten worse. Because people just find ways to constantly be at each other's throats, no matter what it is. Whether it's because of drones, whether it's because of abortion, whether it's because of, I don't know. So without further ado, I'm going to say adieu, for those people who know what that means. Adieu, mon frère, ma soeur, mes soeurs, ma frère. Oh, okay, okay. I've ranted for too long today. It's been 20 minutes worth of ranting about how I just want to get on a, I just want to get in a time machine and go back. Bring all the cool stuff from this century and go live back in more peaceful times, more peaceful times when people weren't constantly fighting over stuff, bickering, making life and society worse for everybody else. Oh, when did talking about a couple of awesome vehicles like these turn into a 20-minute rant about society? I don't know. These things do happen. They do happen. They shouldn't happen, but they do. They doodly do da 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 da. Anyway, so in conclusion, guys, if you want to track stuff with this awesome Zhiyun, and probably every time I say it, I say worse. But you kind of expect that from this channel anyway. So if you want to get this cool thing, it's worth it. It's worth it because at the very least, it tracks your face very well. If you stand up, move down, turn left to right, all that cool stuff. It does a really good job of doing that. So for your live streaming and stuff like that as well, it is fantastic, fantastic. Except the only issue is, I don't know if the app itself on here allows for live streaming. So what you would have to do to get the live stream to work is work really hard with balancing and then have two cameras on here. One that's running the software that tracks your face, and the second camera would be running the live stream. I'm sure that somebody could come up with a smart way of doing that. And so it's totally doable. Totally doable. I know that I could do it if I put my if I try to get one synapse and one neuron from to communicate with another synapse and neuron from the other part of the brain, we could probably come up with some ideas of how to get that to run. But aside from that, at the very least, you can shoot some decent footage of stuff. And if you're just, making promotional videos and all that good stuff, it'll be better. Even for your unboxings and stuff, if you can get it to focus on what you want it to focus on, because occasionally it has the squirrel syndrome too. And so if you put a different object in front of the camera, it might decide to track that instead. And you're like, why? I told you to track this object. But it goes, it suffers from ADHD and a bunch of other things, like most people these days. And so, squirrel, I told you to track this object. Nah. Oh, senility. It comes early to some people. Anyway, I rant a lot about these things, but I keep using them. So it means that to some extent that I must really like these products if I keep bringing them onto the channel, right? If I hated them, I probably wouldn't keep showing you guys these things on the channel. That's one of the things that people don't understand, right? Is people will complain about stuff, but if they keep owning it and bringing it, they can't hate it too much, can they? So there we go, guys. Anyway, did you guys see the Coca-Cola plane? No, of course you haven't. Did you see Steve, what's in the box? No, it never happened. Don't tell the algorithm that it did, because even if you did, it would stop you from seeing it. Anyway, if anybody else is watching these crazy videos from somewhere else, I will say arigatou gozaimasu. Arigatou gozaimasu. Stop. Anyway, in the words of my uncle, stop asking me to update my drones. That was from Iron Chef, if you guys didn't know it. But anyway. what is it? Morimoto-san or sama. Anyway, have a great day, guys. If you were crazy enough to watch until the end of the video, I'm having a good time. Having a good time with all this crazy stuff. And so the only things that I will tell you is because as a somewhat honest reviewer, I need to tell you that if you do buy these things, that you will live with the frustration of constant updates. It's just how the cookie crumbles. You might get some amazing flights. You will for sure. I've got some really amazing flights. Gotta tell you, this is right here. The thing that I make the most fun of is also the drone that I use the most, and that has been most reliable for me since the beginning of time. So if DJI wants to send me the DJI Mini 3, although it has a lot of issues, I would still enjoy testing it out. But more importantly, I would love to test out DJI Mini 3. I mean, if you have the Mini 2, do you really need the Mini 3? What I'd like to test out is the latest version of the FPV, DJI FPV. The 2, the Mini, the not the one that already exists, because that one is huge and bulky and heavy. The one that's coming out, that I would love to test that out. That would be a dream come true if I could test out the newer one. And hopefully they'll make a really small version that's under 250 grams. It'd be cool. If not, I'll still test it out. So just send it to me. Just send it. Send it. Please send it. It'll be worth your while, because at least you'll get a real honest opinion on how well it does from someone who's pretty well known for crashing stuff. Anyhow, if you want a real, honest review, whatever product that you may be putting together, even if it's in beta, I will sign an NDA form, so I can't talk about it on the channel. So I do that a lot anyway. Sometimes companies are nice enough to send me stuff in beta. I will sign the NDA form and help you improve your products, give you some real honest feedback, do many videos for you guys and send them to you in private. Or if you care to send me a product that you don't mind me reviewing or funny reviewing on the channel, I will do that too. I love doing that. And a lot of awesome companies have put their trust in me. Can you believe that? That Pesky Marker Reviews has people who trust them. Anyway, I'm about to fall asleep because it's been a long rant. The sun is coming out. The sun is coming out, so I better go out to take advantage of this moment to fly the drones and get some cool things done today. Peace out. Have fun, guys. And hopefully you guys will get a nice lunch out of today, because there's lots of good options here. And South Coast Plaza. If not, you can go to Spectrum or anywhere else you guys plan on eating. I'm going to have something vegan, which I'm going to get a lot of hate for. And you guys have an awesome day. Take care, guys. I'll see ya.